how did you get started in your business?
Basketball?
No.
Oh.
I love that. I love this. Yeah, tell me how you.
Because that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk about basketball.
Tell me how you got to that championship podium lifting your 40-pound ball glass because you're driving around hurdlers. I mean,
that was always the goal.
Please tell me more about that, Rome. No, in all seriousness, how did you get started in acting?
Yeah. So I didn't grow up, doing drama. I didn't know anything about acting growing up. I did music. I still do music now.
Okay.
And so I kind of got introduced to acting because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up doing like a showcase, like an art showcase that I heard on the radio once. And I was driving and my friend was with me and she's like, you should do that. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I dare you to do it. And so I showed up to this like open casting call for an art showcase. And they required you to do at least 4 categories. And one of them was acting. It was like monologue. Mm-hmm. Another one was like cold read, which is where you read a commercial like off a page and try to sell it. And then...
Do you remember what monologue you did?
No, but I remember that my cold read was for crest whitening strips.
Oh, yes.
I do remember that.
Right.
And it got me into the art showcase with that. And I ended up winning that category in the art showcase with that particular commercial. I just sat up there and said, hey, crest whitening strip. I just did the thing, and I won. I was like, maybe I'm good at this. And I went home and was like, my life is different now. I think I got to change course because I had a scholarship to play basketball at the time at Benedictine University in Illinois.
Sure.
And ultimately I had to walk away from it to pursue acting. And so that was a whole conversation I had to have with the coach, kind of tell him I didn't tell him I was going to pursue acting. I lied to him a bunch of times, and I just tried to figure out which lie was going to work best. Because I was like, there's no way he's going to believe, I'm leaving school to go to be an actor, So initially I told him, I have nowhere to live. He's like, don't worry about that. I'll put you in the house with the guys, take care of rent. And I was just like, what could I come up with that he couldn't have a rebuttal for? And I was like, my mom is sick.
Oh.
I went there. I had to.
But you're a good actor.
At the time, I didn't know. Maybe I was...
It was your first scene.
It was my first scene.
That didn't involve a whitening strip.
Right.
Okay.
And it worked. And he said, I'm sorry to hear that. And I just called my mom. I'm like, you okay, right? She's like, I'm fine. I was like, all right, just want to make sure I'm not manifesting, Yeah. And so ultimately at that point, I kind of decided to shift gears and prepare to try to move to LA. And so it took me like a year and a half to finally get out here. But I had to walk away from my scholarship to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then so you wound up on a soap? Is that was your first?
Yes. So, when I got out here, I actually did a made-for-TV film first for VH1. It's called Drumline 2. It's been many years. But Drumline 2, the first Drumline was...
significant?
Significant. I mean, it impacted me as a kid. I started drumming when I was in 6th grade because of it. And then here I am doing the sequel sort of to that film.
Yeah.
And that was my first time I've ever booked anything. Mm-hmm. And then it was it was a dry spell. I didn't understand the business. I thought I was good. Once you book something, you think, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to say. I'm going to get interviewed. Let me clean up anything I need to clean up in my life. I'm telling my mom, hey, things about to be a little different around here. Okay? I'm on TV now. All right, Mom? So you can't be doing this, doing that. And then, I didn't book anything for months. And then I had to get a job again. And I started working at a cafe. And
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I worked at a cafe where the hours were allowed me to still audition.
Were you good? Were you good as a waiter? Is that what I imagine what you did, or what you did?
Actually, I prepared the pastries. That was
did.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a pastry chef.
Bread.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You prepared the bread.
The pastry, bread, all of that. But
okay.
It worked for me because the hours were just 4:30 in the morning to 1 p.m.
So you could then
audition for stuff, Right. But I will say, a lot of times I would get done with the pastry stuff early and have to wash dishes, right?
Sure.
And there was a guy I worked with, and I saw him every day. We got real cool. And I would be washing dishes, and one day he looked over at me and he's like, man, you look a lot like this guy on this movie I just saw last night. And I was just like, what movie? He's like, it's a movie on VH1, man. Drumline 2. He's like, you look a lot like this dude, but no way that's you. You wouldn't be here washing dishes. And I'd be like, no, that definitely wouldn't. I'm sure that guy's doing great. Hand me that towel. But that humbled me. I was like, if I get my opportunity again to be on a set or the opportunity to play a role, man, I'm going to cherish it and know that it's always fleeting.
And then you got The Bold and the Beautiful?
And The Bold and Beautiful came through.
What's the weirdest, wildest thing you did as a character on The Bold and the Beautiful? What was that?
Yeah, the wildest thing for me was that I played an orphan from South Africa that was adopted into a very wealthy family. That's kind of the premise of the show. And my girlfriend at the time, her sister was transgender. And so my girlfriend was a surrogate for her to have a child. And that was the storyline.
On the soap.
That ultimately I won the Emmy for, though. So
damn straight you did.
Yeah.
Okay. And now here you are, on Godfather of Harlem season 4. You were saying that you were picking the brain of Forrest Whitaker on the set. You want to share something with Forrest?
Yeah.
You got something with you and Forrest from the set?
Some of the greats, I equated to being able to probably watch Michael Jordan work on his fadeaway. Like being able to be in the gym with just you and Mike, or watching him do that.
Yeah.
Or watching Steph Curry warm up. It's like that's the equivalent, being on set with, like, I've worked with Viola Davis in the same way, like intimately for a couple of seasons on How to Get Away with Murder. And so working with Forrest gave me that same feeling. And like the greats, you always think that they come in and it's like, wow, they're over prepared. It's like they're prepared, but it's the natural instinct in them that really is special about them. And so I would see him just have a conversation with me. We start a scene and he'd just be locked in. Just automatically just Bumpy Johnson, and then we go back to talking. And I'd say that's special because a lot of this business is not being in your head and just understanding where you are and where you're going as an actor. And they do it so well. And so I got to talk to him just about like his career. I was just saying, like, you're one of my favorite actors. I get to work with you. And he's just like, I think you're great. And I was like, wow, I appreciate that because he didn't have to say that, So I had a couple of moments with him like that, but for the most part, like, my character is on his own journey, and a journey of self-discovery, really. And so when you're introducing a new character to a show, they can't just drop you in with all the main characters. Like, you kind of have to establish some backstory.
Sure. Certainly with an established show like this one.
Exactly. So a lot of it I spent alone, and then toward the end of the season, like, I'm more involved, but early on was just me and trying to navigate the arc that I kind of wanted to have for this character.